Assalamu alaikum, shalom, hotep, peace be unto you. Salam Allah, peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses. I'm your brother in the struggle for peace, truth, reality, freedom, justice, and equality. Brother Minister Alifullah. Today, family, we're going to continue part 3 of Daniel in prophecy. We're going to turn your attention to some of the wisdom of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, as we said in the first series. Daniel, the prophet that you read about in the Bible, according to Allah God who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever, he taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who taught us an article titled Awake, that actually this Daniel was one of the 23 scientists of Islam. He was a physical human being, a black man, who actually wrote what he wrote for us in this day and time. All praises due to Allah. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, I'm going to take and show and prove why his prophecies fit the world in which we now live. This statue, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is symbolic to nations of today, not ancient Greece and those symbols and signs are not fulfilled until the time in which we, the so-called African Americans, are living in now. Okay, so I want to show y'all the actual science of this. Let's look at the metals in this day and time. Many of you may not realize it, but the United States of America has a lot of gold. See, a lot of nations have a lot of wealth that they stole from black, brown, yellow, and red nations all over the planet Earth, okay? But it is what it is. At the end of the day, the United States of America has approximately 147.3 million troy ounces of gold. It's in different places, mostly out the hills of Kentucky and Fort Knox, okay? So the statue in Daniel has a head of gold. It has a chest and arms or breasts of pure silver. England holds silver bullion over in London in 2025. England don't want you to know how much silver they got, but they got the silver, okay? Israel has circa or about 2,962,710 kilograms of brass. The third power had thighs made of brass. And the fourth power, Germany, had legs of iron. Germany produces 38 million metric tons of iron, or crude steel, all right? The United States of America is the head of gold, and at the foundation, the United States has iron also, or steel. The United States of America has 6.7 million metric tons of steel used to manufacture cars. But this car industry, for the first time in our history, was mixed with so-called Negro employees until the angel, as mentioned in the Messenger's first and second book, and the Supreme Wisdom, volumes 1 and 2, back in 1957, he explained that this angel could be none other than Allah, who came to person of Master Muhammad, okay? He crashed the myth of integration in Detroit, Michigan, at the major plants like Ford and Chrysler and things of that nature there, they had our people integrated or mixed. They had the wheat mixed with the strong. They had the clay, the potter's clay, mixed up with this iron. So the angel struck the foundation of this giant statue, this giant system. And what happened? It collapsed. When the law of God came to the wilderness of North America, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us he first came in 1911, January 29th, 1911, out California. He attended various universities out there, and eventually on Friday, July 4th of 1930, he publicly began teaching our people out the state of Michigan, out Detroit, and Hamtramck. So when he started teaching our people the knowledge of themselves, our people began to separate themselves from technology, as opposed to wanting to assimilate and serve the 10%, the rich, the Fords, the Rockefellers, and all of them. Instead of saying, okay, let's carve our future out where we'll be subservient to the wealthy classes of the world. Because when they say integration, what they mean is for us to strive to be like white people. But we're black people. I mean, it's like white people should be like white people. Chinese people should be like Chinese people. Indian people should be. You should not be ashamed of the nature in which you are manifested, but we should not try to integrate ourselves and our future generations under this system of gold and silver and brass, bronze and iron, and iron mixed with clay, or integration. We didn't succeed in integrating. We didn't succeed through segregation. We didn't succeed through separation. We want independence. That's it. It's like we're not asked for nothing fancy. We saying like, yo, y'all got all these precious metals. Y'all got all these diamonds that y'all got out of Africa from the Kimberley mine. Y'all got all this modern day technology you're stealing out of Africa. Why not give reparations to the so-called African Americans and give them a fair opportunity to be self-sufficient and independent? It's only right. It's only fair. You know what I mean? Come on. So let's look at these metals. Now, notice that each metal gets lesser in value. Remember, the head is gold. We're talking about Fort Knox, Kentucky, and everything, But the silver in the Bank of England in London is less than the value of that gold. Okay, so now you have silver. The next precious metal is, as we said, an Israeli alloy over in Israel, known as the Filkenstein Metals Ltd. This corporation produces brass, like many of the brass instruments you see musicians using is actually manufactured from them, okay? Then you have the German iron manufacturer over in Germany known as ThyssenKrupp. ThyssenKrupp is a humongous conglomerate industry that produces all types of iron, okay? Hitler and them were geniuses in using iron, He did his racist stuff, but they absolutely was advanced in technology and rockets and airplanes and tanks and handguns, and the P-38. Back then, it was the most accurate handgun in the world. So they played with that still, okay? In the United States, the assembly line of the Ford Motor Company was where people that were former slaves strove to reach. They was like, oh, we're trying to leave down south and go up north to get better jobs. That's what my family did. My family is really from down Georgia. I mean, my grandparents and great parents, they they lived down south, but they moved to North Philadelphia in search of better jobs. I mean, everybody was trying to get a better lifestyle, a better, higher paying job. So they went to these different factories trying to get those things. The steel was coming from like Pittsburgh and Ohio and Indiana and things, places like that. And they would ship it to New York and ship it to other places to build the Empire State Building and things of that nature there. But that dream, because at the time it was like we was moving on up. Blacks got better homes and more political power and better education, but that integration did not last. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we wind up back in ghettos. Our people sick, divided, communities full of violence, suicide, illiteracy, absolute hell on earth. We need to be self-sufficient and independent like every other nation on the face of the planet that we call Earth. When we read Messenger Elijah Muhammad's July 9th, 1972, Theology of Time on page number 118, he teaches us, and I'm going to quote him. He says, "It's 7 of them. Last of all is that dreadful angel." He then cuts a shortage into gravity and sets the nation on fire. There is no people that can live on the earth because it all will be in a flame of fire. The flame will only go up 12 miles high. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, Theology of Time, page 118, July 9th, 1972, from Chicago, Illinois. The Bible teaches us in Genesis chapter 19, verse 24, as well as 25. It reads, and I quote, "Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the valley and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground." That's in the Old Testament. The New Testament seems to back it up. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 6 teaches us this. "And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah to ashes, condemned them to destruction, making them an example to those who afterwards would live ungodly." I explained in a cipher at a class just a few months ago, titled "When the 7 Angels Form a Circle." I said, and I quote, "The Suprema Law in person revealed in the 99 actual facts, number 29, the weight of the atmosphere is 11 2/3 quintillion pounds. Number 30 teaches it is 6 miles high. Number 31 teaches it is 4 quintillion pounds, which is equal to the total amount of the atoms. 40 years ago, I explained in my book, The Elaboration of a Lost Lessons, that 78% of the air we breathe, our atmosphere, is nitrogen. 21% is oxygen. And 1% is basically trace gases. Now, the Bible makes sense to the angels of God because they're not reading it in a mystical, spooky sense. See, in this day and time, we separate religion and politics, or we separate spirituality from science. But actually, spirituality is science, real spirituality, not pseudo religion or organized religion. That has nothing to do with truth or science. Nor does technology and pseudoscience have anything to do with real spirituality. So we make a distinction between organized religion, which is of the devil, and spirituality, which is the nature of God. Allah teaches us and the 99 actual facts and the actual factors, that we have 7 mind dimensions: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the soul, the self, and the will. Spirituality is part of the original man's nature. We have the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual. That's the 4th dimension of your being, okay? So spirituality is real, but we have to be in harmony with the universal order of things, to be in tune with our universe, Father God and Mother Nature. We have to be balanced in our spiritual sciences, all right? So pure oxygen, O2, is known as deoxygen or dioxygen, and any spark can quickly ignite that type of pure oxygen. Pure oxygen is so pure that unlike the traditional oxygen that we breathe in, pure oxygen is highly combustible. Like you could spark it and it'll literally send a wall of fire up exactly 12 miles high. Our Earth's atmosphere is 6 miles high. So there's a science there that we need to be aware of. The scriptures teaches us in Daniel chapter 2, verse 46 as well as 47, that the wealthy will eventually bow before the poor. Not all of them, but there will be a few. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us good done by anyone has its reward. The scripture says in Daniel chapter 2, verse 46, then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshiped Daniel and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Think that over. There's nothing spooky. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us Islam is our nature. Everything is real. All praises due to Allah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods. Peace to the goddesses.